All right, so that was a very interesting Monday Night Raw, to say the least. A lot of the things that we saw with John Cena coming out, then Cody, then Randy, then LA Knight, R-Truth being the wild card and shaking things up. That's one of the things that's just so beautiful about wrestling, right? In a couple of days, in one night, things can just totally shift, and you can tell totally different stories or approach the story that you're currently working on in a totally different way, just based on you finding new creative ways to work with the elements that you've been given, right? I love that LA Knight have been kind of included in the conversation now. In my video that I made with 15 superstars, I like to see John Cena face. I don't think I've included LA Knight in that. But I did say that there is room for like talent that he hasn't really faced, and people that are otherwise like younger, relatively lesser known, less established names. He is popular, and he is one of the guys that people always want to see in the spotlight, but he hasn't really been given the chance to thrive in the space that I'd love to see him in. But hopefully we do get to see him and John Cena one-on-one somewhere along this tour. He did make fun of John Cena's hairline, and that's actually what I want to talk about in this video mainly today. So it's going to be a bit of male pattern baldness, a bit of identity with hair, and how it kind of can change characters over time. So I don't know if it's going to be an interesting video as I think about it being in my head, that it will be, but we're going to try and make it as interesting as possible. All right, so let's start with the most recent happening. Well, I guess him talking about Cena's hair will be the most recent thing, but we're going to go back to R-Truth, because he's arguably in most recent time is the most impactful one to happen. So R-Truth came out to Monday Night Raw. He cut his hair, declared himself as a changed man, now going by Wrong Killings. The cutting of the hair symbolic of him losing or being free from the shackles of R-Truth, the character. And we can even now see that how the character is probably going to be. There is elements of him being unpredictable. There's mental elements mixed into that. There's also a thing with Bubba Ray that he was trying to tell R-Truth how to present the character, which well, I guess kind of in a way that's what I'm kind of doing too, in the sense that sometimes when I'm over analytical of certain characters, but how he put it was trying to definitely tell R-Truth how to evoke the character, and it's not my place to do that. It's not his place either, even though sometimes I will kind of say similar things. But in this scenario, he was kind of wrong in his, trying to tell R-Truth how to establish his character. Because I do believe that, I'm kind of going off tangent, we're supposed to be talking about here, but I do believe that R-Truth, ever since 2011, there have been aspects of the character that have kind of still lingered around, because he has always been kind of delusional, with him coming out when he's not included in the match, or setting up the ladder in the middle of a ring when it's a Royal Rumble. All the things, shenanigans that he does, like mixing up Triple H with Tommaso Ciampa, stuff like that. So he's still, from what I understood, in the little time that he and Bubba Ray spoke, there was, well, no. When he was responding to Bubba Ray, he pretty much delineated or put separation between R-Truth, the comedy character, just like he did on Monday Night Raw. He put separation between R-Truth, the character, and Run the Truth Killings. So even though there's gonna be some hiccups with it. I guess that was what Bubba was trying to kind of avoid, because even when it came out, the first time when John had his back turned to the ring and was lifting his title up, there was the time. When the announcers were calling, were like calling what was happening, they started off saying our truth, and they were excited, our truth, our truth, our truth. Then they said run killings. Then they kind of went back and forth between our truth and run killings. So I guess that was what Bob was trying to say, but in the moment it just kind of the way he kind of phrased it, to our truth came. So you missed in the way how he phrased it, just kind of came off as a bit judgmental, especially since he hasn't really fully established what he wants the character to be. And who knows, maybe he even finds a deeper layer where he even separates it further. So just like how you have the Fiend and the Funhouse versions of Bray Wyatt, maybe our truth is able to find, or Run Killings or Run the Truth Killings is able to find even a deeper layer, because they're so similar in the names, right? But we'll see how he evolves the character over time. Back to the hair thing now. All right, so as it relates to the hair thing, there are a couple of things I want to kind of touch on, especially with the characters that are involved in the main event scene right now. So our truth is one of those people I want to talk about. Our truth, Cena has also been kind of battling the hair thing. People were actually expecting him to come out like totally bald, but we've seen him in matches, and he's been losing his hair, and he mentioned that he has done the surgery. I'm not sure if he actually did it or he's just saying that he did it, but the symbolic aspect of it, seeing John Cena still trying to hold on to the hair while our truth kind of severed the ties, even though he was himself holding on to it for a long time. Our truth severing the ties with the hair and actually going lower because he was having his own hair issues, speaks to how their characters are fundamentally different. Because John Cena, even in what he said tonight on SmackDown, he said that basically his whole career up to now, even with The Rock and everything, I might have to make a bit on that separate, but what he said with him pretty much being a control freak and everything, even the matches that he does, even what happened in Royal Rumble, he had a contingency plan for that. Why he sided with The Rock, he went through all that, which kind of fixed a lot of what was kind of wrong with the way how Rock portrayed the selling of the soul thing. It showed Cena as being the type of person, which everybody kind of knows that he is, who's very particular in what he wants to happen. And the hair thing, which is something that he cannot actually control, instead of him totally like shaving it off, he grew the hair up, and symbolically, if you look at both characters, R-Truth versus John Cena, R-Truth is really free. As you said, the truth shall set you free, while John Cena is still kind of holding on to the last vestige of this part of his life where the hair, is not doing too wonderful at the moment. But it's not just them, because I mentioned that I want to talk about a couple of them that are in the main event picture right now. So there's John Cena, his hair thing now. There is R-Truth, and there's also one more. So before R-Truth did the whole head shaving thing, there have been scenarios in the past where hair shaving has happened, and I think I spoke about it briefly, but I want to kind of touch on it again. So Over the Limit 2011, I think. Over the Limit 2011. CM Punk's character was a bit different at the time. So at that time he was in the Straight Edge Society, and at the time, not just in the Straight Society, he was the leader, and the leader for the WWE's version of it. And a part of the gimmick that he had, he was shaving people's heads, and anybody who was a follower, he would shave their heads, and that would make them show their loyalty and have the purity aspect of it also, and be willing to follow the straight edge commands or narrative or whatever you want to call it. When his hair was cut, because how he was perceived, CM Punk's hair was a representation of his purity. I remember specifically Matt Striker when he was calling the match versus Punk, Punk versus Rey Mysterio, that third match that they had, because they fought at WrestleMania, they fought at Extreme Rules, and then they fought at Over the Limit, which was their last, the culmination of their feud. When it happened, when he lost his hair, why this kind of parallels R-Truth, because R-Truth was the one who made the cuts himself. CM Punk in this moment was almost like Samson getting his hair cut, losing all his power, while R-Truth gained all his power back and was able to create something new for himself in the main event scenario now, where he can pop up at any moment. He has such freedom that the hair of being just a comedic wrestler, or the hair that would be attached to R-Truth as a character, is no longer holding him back. He is now free to, put John Cena in the STF like he did. It's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, they do something with this beyond just having that it be the scenario where, he attacks Cena and causes him the match and somebody else wins. No, I don't want it. This is the perfect climate now, especially on the road to SummerSlam, where they can actually allow for somebody like R-Truth to finally, in his own retirement, period here, because I don't think he's probably going to be in the active part of wrestling as much longer. Hopefully they do allow him to transition over into the writing side, because you can tell that he has a brilliant mind for how to maximize whatever spot you're given, right? He knows how to maximize, whether that's given a title that nobody wants, that nobody thinks is valuable, like the 24/7 championship, and making it one of the most beloved, segments, where that's him being on the in the back, interacting with a wrestler for 3 minutes and still finding a way to break them, or whether that's him coming out to the ring acting confused, or whatever he decides to do. He understands how to take the most and squeeze the most out of every single moment that he's a part of. Hopefully they allow him to transition into a role like that if he wants to be associated with the company, because this whole thing with him being released is still kind of in poor taste. If it really is real, he may want to distance himself after, which would be understandable, and maybe go on a world tour, showing up at different promotions and all that. But the significance of Punk's hair being shaved, him or Truth, right, or Ron the Truth Killings choosing to cut his hair himself, and Cena being a control freak, in the sense of everything that he said tonight, and not wanting to just let go of the hair, because he wants to control that as well. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out going forward. When I see R-Truth maybe show up at even John Cena's house, it's been a long time since we had moments like that. I think the last one was when Randy went to the compound, and maybe there were more beyond that, but maybe I didn't really catch it. But the most memorable one well, it was like when, like even in the supermarket, like R-Truth being mentally unstable, right? Can just show up anywhere at any time. Just like how it pop up in the show, pop up with the 24/7 championship. It's, he fits. It's R-Truth. R-Truth as a character, ranklings now as the evolution. There's so much space here to play with. I just hope that they do allow him to really get into that heel persona or maybe it's not even like a heel persona. We still need to see. He still needs to maybe cut out like a 2 or 3 more promos to see where he really wants to go with this character. If he does go down the route of making a clear delineation between R-Truth and Ron the Truth killings, and maybe even adding something extra onto that. Maybe even he brings in Little Jimmy as a other character now. It's gonna be brilliant to see, and yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it. I'm done rambling for now. If you want to check out some of the projects I'm currently working on, a lot of them are on Gumroad, some of them are on Amazon, but you can go ahead and check out this if you're into this kind of story. So this is Javon Crawford's Deathbound Arena, Witches of the Dead. So it's pretty much a book that goes into some people that died with regrets, pretty much, and it gives them the chance to vie for a chance to compete for a wish. And we're gonna go any deeper than that. So you died, but that wasn't the end. You woke up in the arena, half dead, half alive. Now you're fighting for the one thing that still matters, a wish you never got fulfilled. Each warrior in Deathbound Arena carries a scar of their final moments. So depending on how they died, so some died from fire, poison, drowning, betrayal. The scars that they got are now their powers, right? And only one person can win. Only one person's wish can be granted. So it's a lot like how you'd have the Royal Rumble. Still tied back to wrestling a little bit, but otherwise, if you want like wrestling related content, all right, let me just give me a second here. I'm gonna add the products underneath. Add products. All right. So I'm just gonna add a couple products here that you can check out. So if you want wrestling related content, I have Pin Me Pay Me. That's one of them. There is Ring General, and there is Creative Control. So yeah, and let me just load those up quickly here. If it loads up, did it load up? Because it says not found. I don't know why. Did something get deleted or something? Okay, I guess it didn't load up. But anyway, so these are 3 wrestling, as you could call them, web novels, volume 1 of each of them, and they pretty much cover different aspects of the wrestling business. So the Ring General follows follows a referee named Benny and his own challenges when it comes to handling his challenges that he has to face when it comes on to listening to the earpiece from the guys in the back. So that could be the production team, the higher ups beyond that, and also having to make decisions on the fly when a wrestler gets hurt, having to protect the wrestler or eject people that come in and want to change things around. But yeah, that's one. That's Ring General. There's also Pin Me Pay Me. That's a jobber's story from the side of, all right, you know how jobbers are typically not really seen as being important, that are more brought in as enhancement talent. This kind of tells the story of a jobber multiple jobbers. Like it's about, let me see, four. Well, it's more than 4. It's like all right, it's like an industry within an industry. It would be like it tells the jobber story from the side of a jobber. You know, them never really getting the chance to have championships, never really getting the chance to have any big moments. You never have a jobber on WrestleMania, for instance, right? You never really have a jobber being in the main event picture, never really having fans, never really getting merch. But this kind of takes their story as the underdog and still kind of puts them in a light that makes it interesting for you to follow their story. The wrestling, this one, Creative Control, that one is more on the side of the production, and it ties into the wrestler and also the dynamic between the owner and the creative team and the wrestler, and like other promotions wanting to make decisions and maybe buy them out. You know, so it pretty much follows a promotion that is dying. It has like 5 months left, and the new guy, Gabe Malloy, has been brought in as the new head of creative to try to save the promotion. There's a lot mixed in, so how do I put this now? So there is gimmick changes, there is betrayal, there is realistic heels that make sense in a politicking kind of way. There is fans, you know, all right, so like how the fans brought back R-Truth, there are dynamics of that also mixed in. There's feuds and a lot of other, you know, little nice little things that make wrestling fun, right? But yeah, so we're done talking about hair. We're done talking about stuff here you can get if you want to. I recommend that you do. You'll probably become a fan favorite. Well, I'm not gonna say fan favorite. You'll probably find them humorous at times, and if you're missing that raw, real element of what wrestling used to be, or any of those elements, so maybe you want to kind of get away from the expensive ticket prices or other, like the advertisement being plastered everywhere. You know, these kind of go back to the grassroots of what makes wrestling fun to watch. But yeah. So that's the video. Done yapping for now. You'll probably see another video very soon. Not sure how soon though. But yeah, so we're done talking about here. And yeah, that's the video. Okay. All right.